Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahy, Aaron Pita, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a doggone show about weirdos. Joining me, as always, prettiest boy under the sun. His name is Aaron Joseph Pita. Hi there, Aaron.
Hi there. I am a hyperversion master, a doctor of perversion, a DP, if you will.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you are. You sick fuck.
You sick motherfucker.
Sick fuck.
Shut up, pig! Hey, over here we've got Matt Brousseau.
Oh, hi. Yeah.
Oh, look at him.
Wow. Look at him. Beautiful, beautiful man. I love the guy. Wow.
Hey, is there enough for me?
No.
Well, good thing, because we have somebody else here today.
That's right. And his name is Chris Crittenden. He's a fabulous stand-up comic, one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. I absolutely adore the guy.
Aw.
You're a very good friend of mine, and I love you.
That means a lot.
And I like to bring up those kind of massive, tidings of emotion on the air.
Blindsiding you.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's a good move.
And Chris is going to be sharing a profile with us today. Very excited about it. We talked about it here before.
Yes.
I just want to say up top, thank you to everybody that we got 3 more subscribers today on the Patreon.
Yes.
We are $100 away from achieving our first goal, $700.
Talk about it.
We're basically gonna make a video sketch based on stuff from the show.
Yes.
And Joe is making the shirts for us, which are coming out. I put in the order for the stickers today because we finally got the Patreon money today.
Oh, it came through.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why John came in here with his new Gucci loafers and his bulletproof vest.
Yeah. And we put
duffel
in
bags of Coke.
Yeah, duffel bags. $500. And put in the order for the buttons today. And we'll finally. The shirts are already in the mail.
Shirts are in the mail.
Yeah, the I Freak at the Teak to You shirts are already in the mail. So very, very exciting, guys. As soon as everything's here, we're gonna start sending out packages to everybody that's subscribing.
Yeah.
It's very, very exciting, Aaron.
Yes.
I get very excited.
I'm looking at you. It's coming through your pores.
Yeah, you
palpable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, again, thank you so much. Please, if you can support the show, you don't necessarily have to subscribe to the Patreon. You can also donate to the PayPal, Profiles and Eccentricity Podcast at gmail.com.
Yes, for just if you want to do a one-time.
Yeah.
A one-time, hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah. Things are going great, and it's because of you guys listening, and we love you so much.
Yeah, that word of mouth is really helping out.
Yeah, it's great. And it's really fun seeing people that find the show for the first time, like last week, and then they just go and they listen to them all.
Yeah.
So like all of our older shows are getting like a ton of listens and shit. Yeah. It's very, 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 very flattering.
Yes. We need it.
Yeah, I need it bad,
Yeah.
dude, because I don't got much else going on, bro.
No, it's sad.
You know what I mean?
It's sad.
Yeah, it's tragic. So I'm gonna let Chris get started on all these shenanigans. You want to tell me about this creep or spaz or weirdo?
Yeah. He's a little bit of all those, I'd say.
Yeah?
His name's Steve Rocco.
Okay.
And he initially rose to prominence in the skateboarding world as a freestyle skateboarder.
Oh, that's the stuff where they're
remember?
they're manipulating it with their hands.
Yeah, like the handstands and like the I'm making the board go all wiggly and this is a trick. Not vert ramp. It was like the predecessor to street skating, but it looks more like
breakdancing,
ice dancing and breakdancing.
Yeah.
And
weird.
Yeah, like a lot of like spinning around, like flipping the flipping the board over and spinning around on like just the point of the board and like standing on the trucks and making the board flip with your hands and just dumb crap like that.
Yeah, generally acting the fool.
Yeah, kind of like they would do it with like BMX too, where you're like moonwalking on the
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
same kind of thing.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's very weird, but that was like the crappy kind of skateboarding. Like basically, like that was like the the unpaid rooms of comedy was the freestyle skating. It's like you're just
yeah.
Are you shitting on unpaid rooms, bro?
yeah, exactly. No, it's like this guy was the biggest guy in the world at that. He won like every year. He was the freestyle champion every year.
In what kind of era are we talking?
In like the 80s.
Okay.
He'd win it consistently, like when Tony Hawk was huge in the 80s at Vert Ramp. But the difference was the Vert Ramp guys made money, and he just like got boards and products and got shit on because the companies didn't see him as like a person. They're like, oh, you don't sell enough boards. We don't make enough money off you compared to the Vert guys to justify investing any money in you.
Yeah.
And all the people that headed all these skateboard companies were business people. None of them were skaters. Like it was it was old white dudes who had like wood factories and just started like oh well, let's do this. And there were like manuals. If you were on the Powell Peralta team, the Bones Brigade, there was a manual of conduct that they gave you in the 80s that you had to follow. You had to perform a certain way at contests.
Really?
You had to behave a certain way in public. You couldn't be like drunk in public. It was just like very, very conservative and not at all what you think about with skateboarding.
Yeah.
And basically
this was handed down from the companies.
From the companies.
Okay.
And so he was not a fan. He didn't like that. He's like, why are we being treated second rate? And so he's winning every year in the 80s, and then this 13-year-old kid comes, I think from Florida, and beats him. So 13-year-old kid beats him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would be like, well, fuck this kid. I'm going to like ruin his life. Or he doesn't. He takes him in. Rodney Mullen moves out from Florida to California and is living with Rocco. Mm-hmm. And before long, he convinces another Powell skateboarder, Mike Vallely, to leave. So Rodney Mullen, Mike Vallely, and Steve Rocco start this company called World Industries. Steve Rocco's like behind it, and he just basically has them on as writers. And that company was like a direct shot at Powell Peralta and Santa Cruz and all the establishment companies because they were all owned by outside interests. And he's like, no, I'm a fucking skateboarder and I'm going to have a company. Yeah. And so none of them took him seriously. He was a former used car salesman. He's borrowing money from loan sharks.
Wow.
He wound up having to take out another $10,000 loan in the first year of business to pay back the interest on his loan shark loan.
Oh my God. Got to keep these legs.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
can't skate without them.
And you can't. You can't be knuckling around on these boards.
That's what I learned about business from investigating this guy. Looking at this guy, it's like if you want to be successful, owe money to someone who will kill you. Then you just be successful. Because otherwise I'm going to be killed. So you just make it work.
Those stories are always so great. They're like there's like a punk record label out of Boston where it was like I think like the initial money all came from bets on street fights that the founders were in. They were in the fights. So I mean you're literally fighting for your future to make this company succeed. But those stories are always so inspiring. It's like the thing of like, putting your back against the wall as hard as you can. Because there's no way to go but up.
Yeah,
you're drowning.
It's the Charlie Murphy.
The
only acceptable outcome is victory.
Man.
Oh man. Yeah. So good. So he's basically just trying to get this thing going, and no one's taking him seriously. So Mike Vallely is this vegetarian weirdo, and that's part of like he gets in fights and he's a fight vegan, not like a friendly vegan. He's the kind of vegan that'll like rip his shirt off and beat the shit out of you in a parking lot.
And is that chicken?
And then go into a coma for 3 days.
Yeah.
Man, that was exhausting.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a weird dude, but for his first graphic on World Industries, he wanted to do this like really folky like thing where it's like a bunch of animals on a farm just existing peacefully, and it says, "Please don't eat my friends." And so Steve Rocco takes that idea to his graphic designer and goes like, whatever. This guy wants to do this stupid fucking folk thing, whatever. And they come back with a cartoony slaughterhouse.
Oh God, okay.
And this is also the first board that's not shaped like a goldfish cracker in history. This is the first one that's shaped like a skateboard, like that everyone uses today.
Right.
And that board gets them on the map. No one else has that shape. Rodney Mullen, the kid that he brought along, designed that shape.
Oh.
So he poaches a skateboarder from Powell Peralta who winds up inventing the modern skateboard tech.
Oh God.
At that point, Powell starts doing some kind of counter strikes because they're making them look bad. They're coming out with new board shapes. They're constantly shitting on Powell in ads, and Powell goes from not addressing them to addressing them. Mm-hmm. And they make this ad just dismissing them because World Industries basically had poached a bunch of writers by bringing them in and saying, now you're going to be the head of this team. Mm-hmm. So it's like we're going to get Mark Gonzalez, who was writing for Powell, and instead of writing for Powell, instead of writing for Vision, now you can have your own company. What do you want to call it? Mm-hmm. Blind. Because it's the opposite of Vision. Yeah. And so they started out with that. And then he's empowering these skateboarders who are basically the street skaters who are not getting shit from these companies. And he's bringing them in, giving them money and autonomy to build their own teams. And so Powell finally responds with this ad basically making fun of small companies and saying buy their boards before these small companies go buy because they're just here in a cash grab. They're not going to last.
Right.
And so in a brilliant move, Rocco had their artist make boards that were making fun of the Powell boards. So Powell would do these really dramatic like American classic tattoo style boards where it's like the Hawk skull for the Tony Hawk board. And so for Jason Lee's board, they did a dodo skull, just this dumb skull, and there's a guy, a skull holding a sword, and so the World Industries board has him holding a banana, a skeleton holding a banana, and so they post this ad the month after Powell has that ad. No one buys Powell skateboards anymore. Even today, Powell exists, but they sell Bones bearings and blank skateboards. They have basically no pro team. This one move that this guy did, an ad, destroyed an entire company that had been running for 35 years.
Just by making fun of him.
Making fun of him well. It's just you tried to do our game? Well, check this out. We took it to a level you weren't expecting. Now you're fucked.
Yeah.
And now Jason Lee's on My Name is Earl. So
That's the thing. That's what I love about this story is you see all these things where it's how the fuck did you get involved in this shit? The Jason Lee's one of them. Another one is he brought in this guy, I think his name is Mike Ternasky or Mike T, they call him, but he started a company called Plan B. Mm-hmm. And Plan B, the co-founder of it with him was Spike Jonze.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so Spike Jonze got involved in the skateboard industry then. Plan B brought in a bunch of these skateboarders, Rick Howard, Eric Costin, Mike Carroll. A lot of them were San Francisco guys that were the best street skaters to date, had the best style. And those guys actually wound up Roccoing Rocco. Whoa. They left the company and founded Girl.
Huh.
Wow.
So Girl Skateboards, that was basically, they realized, oh, you're just a skater running a company.
Yeah.
We're gonna fuck you, man. Why do you have all the money? We're gonna take some of the money too.
Yeah.
And those writers, some of those guys are still writing for Nike SB and are in charge of footwear design, and it's insane. Just all these different avenues that it crossed into.
Yeah.
But basically, Powell starts to decline. They're taking off, and their success gets them so far that their riders are starting to defect. That Girl Skateboards happens. They're like, how the fuck can we keep this going? So basically, they launch. Actually, that's not quite right. There was a magazine, Transworld, and Transworld refused to run an advertisement that Rocco wanted to run, which had a guy pointing a gun in his head. And so the guy responds to Rocco and says, hey, I can't run this because one of my friends as a kid committed suicide.
Uh-huh.
That's fairly reasonable, right?
Right.
Suicide?
Rocco comes back. Yeah, right? It's the only reasonable decision. But Rocco comes back. That's weird because that sounds like it's your life. Why should I be changing the way that my business runs based off of your life?
Right.
In fact, fuck you, I'm starting a magazine.
Wow.
So he starts a magazine, Big Brother, which changed the way skateboard magazines were. To that point, it was basically, there was Thrasher, which is we're punks and we skateboard.
Yeah.
And then there was Transworld, which is we're dorks and we skateboard. And then Big Brother came along and they were tits, drugs, that guy's gonna kill himself. Here's some shit. It's just
also skateboards
sometimes. And just completely changed it, and that was exactly what people at the time were looking for. So it starts getting popular. They start growing their own thing, and they start doing videos. So Big Brother is putting out videos in addition to these magazines now.
Now, have people done skateboard videos yet?
They have done videos, but what Big Brother did was interesting is they introduced video grabs. So have you ever seen a sequence in a skateboard magazine where they show all the frames of the trick?
Yeah.
That is basically a video grab. So those are individual frames of a video, and they had shitty equipment and no photographers on staff. Right. So they would just video everything and take usable frames and put them into the magazine.
And then you see the whole sequence of the trick.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but people liked it for that reason, but for them, it was really just a functionality thing. They're like, this is not good enough to blow up. I can't print this as full size. It's only going to look good if we put 20 of them on a page because it's a shitty little video graph.
Right.
And it was so popular that it caused the other magazines to start having to do that too. But their paper wasn't designed for the shitty photos, so like you have the glossy Transworld paper, these just garbage video grabs, and it looks like they're kidding. So just by virtue of making all these decisions, he read The Art of War and just relentlessly used it against everyone in the skateboard industry who thought he was just some idiot skater. And so Big Brother starts taking off. They're making a lot of video content. They're not making any money with it, but they're the magazine of choice, you know. And they start pulling in these fucking weirdos who have nothing to do with skateboarding. So they get Steve-O. He was at a demo. They were on tour with Duff's shoes, I think. And Steve-O shows up to a demo and like lights himself on fire and does a backflip and like punches himself in the face. And they're like, yeah, sure, more of that.
So I think he jumped off a bridge and stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's just what he does when he goes to parties.
Yeah, exactly. He's just being him.
Yeah.
Just shows up.
But he was like, you guys get it with the tits.
And they're like, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
And so he was doing that. They pulled Johnny Knoxville in, who tests self-defense things on himself. He's like tasing himself. He shoots himself with a gun while wearing a bulletproof vest. Like they're doing all these crazy things. And
it's weird though that like all these things that were just based on humor attracted these people. That like it was just like being like you it might not be about skateboarding for you, but you know the place that this shit is coming from.
Right, because skateboard is that kind of like counter-establishment, counterculture thing.
Right, yeah, it's a pretty punk-centric sort of thing, and like it used to be very, very humor-based. Yeah. But it was just also like, screaming back then before the internet for just alternate media. So even if it was a skateboarding thing, if you felt like somebody got it, you would be like, I need to go fucking talk to those guys.
Yeah.
And if you're the type of guy who, when you go to parties, you want people to kick you in the balls as you swallow goldfish, there's only one place where that's accepted. And
right.
Big Brother. That's where you
exactly.
Go where you're, grow where you're planted.
And that's where that Johnny Knoxville thing, also a kind of callback to Chris Burden getting shot for the name of art in quotation marks. That Johnny Knoxville thing is what went on. That was like his first thing in Jackass. So he kind of reenacted that whole self-defense products thing.
Yeah, and that's basically where they're going. Is the magazine wasn't making any money, but they brought on a financial guy, and he's like, just keep making video content. I think we can sell this to some fucking idiot who doesn't realize that this doesn't make any money.
Right.
And a year and a half later, they sell to Larry Flint for $500,000. And this magazine was not making them any money, so they turned no money into $500,000 and not their problem anymore. It's like, okay, now that's gone. But what's great is the guy who was in charge of the video stuff for Big Brother and was basically the editor of Big Brother cut a bunch of the videos they made and Bam Margera stuff from CKY, and that was the pilot pitch for Jackass. And so it directly came from the magazine.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a fusing of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, CKY was huge in its own respect, for sure.
Which is so crazy that it just like pre-internet, totally organic and viral, that these VHS would just circulate. I'm sure you could probably order them.
Oh, my friends still have them to this day.
Did you? I imagine you ordered them from magazines or something.
Yeah, but I think it was like he'd order a skate magazine. They just have an ad or whatever.
That's and it became this whole thing, and Bam was like 16.
Yeah.
And
but even before you had any of that shit where they were like doing like pranks and stuff, like just the skate video would be how a lot of people got into music.
Yeah, you'd hear a new song
because there's a new song. It's a skateboarding series of music videos.
Yeah.
that they're making. And so you would find out about all kinds of crazy music that you would never hear anywhere else but a skate video. And sometimes it was punk and sometimes it wasn't. It could be any goddamn thing.
Yeah, like a lot of Dinosaur Jr.
Sure, yeah.
Like a lot of cool hip hop.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And weird instrumental things. There's great music in a lot of skate videos.
So good. Good. I mean, just like
the trend's still alive too. I mean, people are even better at making them now.
Yeah.
So basically, he gets out of Big Brother. He has all these people leave, and he's like, "Well, what do we do now? Like, I'm fucked. I don't have a team. Like, I don't have much." But he did have that amazing artist, and so the artist cooks up Devilman, Flame Boy, and Wet Willie. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, those are the logos for World Industries.
It's like the water droplet and the like fire guy.
Yes.
Those things were crazy at my high school.
Yeah.
My junior high. People everywhere.
Yeah.
And so basically he had his whole team leave, and for like 5 months they weren't selling anything. Developed these characters, number one selling thing on the market again. So it's just like this guy just could not make a bad decision. He even he gave his crazy brother a company called Bitch Skateboards, which was basically the logo of girls' skateboards, but looking scared because there's a guy standing next to her holding a gun to her head.
There's always a gun.
What the fuck, dude? Yeah. Hey there, bitch.
Bitch Skateboards blew up in Japan.
Yeah, really?
No joke, was the best-selling outsold World Industries stuff 8-1. They were selling Bitch Skateboard stuff in grocery stores in Japan.
Wow.
Because it's a different script. They don't know what it says.
They don't know what it means.
Yeah,
whatever.
Faces of Death is number one at the box office.
Yeah, all they know is it's a lady avatar with a guy holding a gun to her head. We don't know what the word.
We love it.
I got yogurt. I got melons. Oh, there. I need that bitch skateboard.
Gotta get the bitch skateboard.
Jesus Christ.
Honey, you brought the ramen, but you forgot the bitch.
So he gets back on top again, and then he sells 70% of his company for $29 million.
Holy shit!
No, can I dial you back for a second?
Yeah.
Now, while he is doing this stuff, I mean, is there any kind of testimony as to how he ran the business? Was he like a greedy fucker and not treating people right? Is that why everybody's leaving?
Well, I think it was more if you give 16-year-olds something, then they just think that's always going to be there. Like, it was a lot of these kids that didn't have anything, and then all of a sudden they're living in, like, this skate warehouse making, like, $10,000, $15,000 a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you even do with that?
So he was treating them right.
It's not like them right.
Yeah.
He treated everyone else badly. Like, you didn't want to be in competition with him because he'd put you out of business. But if you were working with him, he'd love you, and you'd love working with him.
He almost empowered them too much.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think in the end he's fine with it because he lives in a fucking trailer in Malibu that overlooks the ocean, and he just like has a chill life. It's like he still owns like I think part of the company and makes money off of that, but it's not a fucking giant pain in his ass anymore. And it was like he got to beat the whole industry twice and then get out on his own terms. It's pretty insane. Like,
So he sold World.
He sold World Industries, like or Dwindle Distribution, which is like the whole whatever company. I think he sold like 70% of that to an investment firm for like almost $30 million.
Jesus Christ.
And this was a company that he built from used car salesman loan shark money.
Yeah.
He took $6,000 to a furniture store and had them make him 500 boards. That's how he started the company.
Oh my God.
And he turned it into a $29 million company.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much about that is kind of like embracing the hubris of we know what's right, and we're not wrong, and everybody says we're wrong, but we're not wrong.
Yeah.
And you're gonna tell me that like this type of skating isn't cool,
You tell me I can't put two lips on a skateboard?
Yeah, or fucking like or this humor isn't funny, or people don't get it, and it's like I'm just gonna be like, no, they do, and then you're right.
Yeah, it's pretty
great. Dope.
Yeah, some of the ads in Big Brother are really like pornographic.
Yeah, they're just tits.
It's like, just tits, or it's like a vagina smoking a cigarette or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for that one they actually had to post they ran the ad, but they had to run a picture of the fact that it was a fake vagina. They're like, look, here's a picture pulled out. This is it's a fake pussy smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's not a real pussy.
Right.
Don't worry, guys.
Buy our trucks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So weird.
What are they worried about? Cancer or something?
I think that was like something the publisher made them do. They're just
Really?
In order to put that out there, you have to show that no, this is a fake pussy.
That's so funny.
Because you didn't have to be 18 to buy it.
Yeah. It was just a magazine. It wasn't even like they weren't even like polybagged for like the first few years that they existed. It's like, how is that? Yeah, just all right. You can just look at that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's Chris Pontius was a writer there.
Yeah, Chris Pontius.
Wee Man.
Yeah, Wee Man was there. It's pretty crazy. He brought together just all these people, and he guessed right. And the other thing that was smart about what he did was the skateboarding industry, like a lot of industries, has like 10-year kind of peaks and valleys. And the 90s sucked. Like, the 90s was terrible, and it just started to pick up near the end of the 90s.
Yeah.
And so he sold his company right then, and like two years after he sold his company, wasn't worth shit anymore.
Another
because because those kids that thought the Devil Man and Wet Willie and Flame Boy were cool grew up and stopped thinking it was cool, and there weren't like a new group of kids that thought it was cool. So it was just like, fuck. So it was just, in the end, he just kept hitting home runs and then got the fuck out of there. It's like a Barry Sanders career, you know? He's just like, he didn't get concussed. He's still sharp. He's doing his thing.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things, though, too, where it's like he was there for the climb of skateboarding becoming a culture, and there was kind of a backlash against it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think he just escaped that.
Well, I think he escaped because it's like what happened with skateboarding was it grew from being a niche thing to finally crossing over in the kind of the mainstream with like Tony Hawk and the 900 and all that stuff. And so he got out like right around then. And so once all the people that hopped onto the trend of skateboarding fell off, what are you going to do with a big why do you need a big company at that point? You don't need to sell 20 million boards when there's not 20 million people skateboarding.
Yeah.
It's just...
Were they really selling 20 million boards?
I mean, I don't know the figures. I'd imagine they sold that many, though. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was really big. I remember like junior high going into high school, like everyone was fucking skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
And the people that had no business skateboarding were still wearing, girl sweatshirts, or Wet Willie and Flame Boy were like everywhere. It was like drawing, people used to draw Marvin the Martian and shit. People were drawing Willie and Flame Boy like on their notebooks.
Yeah, it was the next DCS.
Yes. It's very nice.
But it's like a weird thing where it's like, was there like a thing, I wonder, in that guy's mind of like, is like the media we're creating, which went on to be like Jackass and things like that, is the media we're creating actually more of the thing I should be focusing on? Because I made this thing and there was nothing, and now there is something based around it that has nothing to do with skateboards. It's weird to me that he wouldn't be like...
Well, I think for him as like a business owner, it's just Big Brother was the hardest part to deal with. Because they were the most insane, like the skateboarders are just general chaos. Like, they'll break your wall but like these people were just fucking weirdos. They're like, they'd hire like...
It was like National Lampoons.
Yeah, it was just this collection of people who were just constantly losing him money and like having almost nothing and being late with stuff. Like, their first issue they had to give away because it was a piece of shit.
Wow.
Like, it like had a price on it, and they put a sticker on everyone that's like, we're actually giving this away because it fucking sucks. It's just like they were constantly under delivering, but it's like, but the thing is, this was basically pre-internet, and so that's the difference. Is like there wasn't a home for content that's interesting but not high quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Like, it was basically, if you weren't having production value, it was like, whatever. Like, this is just a thing.
Yeah.
But kids were the only kind of people that wouldn't give a shit about that because they're like, oh, I shouldn't have this anyway. Like, I have like 5 things that I can watch.
Yeah.
They're all, like, I have Half Baked that someone recorded from cable. I have CKY. I have Osiris's The Storm. It's like, what are you going to, like, there's not that much shit to do. It's just, whereas, like,
and that one porno magazine in the bush in the woods.
But for a magazine like Big Brother, like, even if it sucks, like you said, like, even if it was mediocre content, there was that thing of like, okay, but this is a physical thing I have, and I know it may get me closer to whatever I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Like, you were kind of looking at it like you were grabbing a thread.
Yeah.
And following it to something that meant something more to you, because there's all different kinds of weirdos out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't we know it?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, you're trying to find your own little special brand of whatever weird. But this thing was speaking to a wide breadth of fucking strange ass people. So you would be like, well, no matter what, I don't have enough media that speaks to this kind of shit. So I'm just gonna, even if it sucks, I want to hear what these guys have to say.
Yeah.
I think what it really is no one said. I mean, once he won, I think he basically did everything to fight. Like, everything was a fight to him.
Yeah.
Like, he started World Industries because he didn't like the way, like, basically people said skateboarders can't run companies, and he's like, oh yeah, fuck you. And, like, you can't do what you want to do in my magazine. Oh yeah, fuck you. Mm-hmm. So I think once the fuck you was gone, once he already, like, established it and it was not going away, it's like, well, I already won. Like, I made Transworld change what they did. I made Thrasher change what they did. All these people had to adapt to me. So he just was an ultimate troll.
Right.
So I think it's like I don't think he even cared about the stuff. Like it was very weird because he let the writers do drugs and drink and all that shit. He doesn't even do any of it, but he just wouldn't get in the way. He's like, no, I mean, I'll just let you guys do what you're doing because I need to ruin Powell and Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And so, like, whatever you guys got to do
if it
to
takes
make
an
this
8-ball a chap to fucking ruin, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, what am I gonna? I don't give a fuck if you're 17.
The bearings are lubed up. The half pipe's all waxed up, ready to go. It's a foregone conclusion. You're gonna do a kickflip varial.
I love that, like Chicago sports dads talking about skateboarding at the X Games. Oh, I can't believe he didn't go for a McTwist there. I would have done that.
Armchair.
We gotta get him more chop.
You got to alley-oop into that Smith grind there, sonny.
You gotta get your toe under the... God damn it, how many times do I gotta tell you? You gotta wear the Kareem Campbell actions.
All right, so he sells for 30 million?
Yeah, about like 29 million.
And then what happens with this guy and his company?
Basically, he, I think, gets out of the way and just lets it like suck for a while. And then I think now he's a little bit more involved than he was because he took like a big break and they're bringing back some brands that he was involved in 20 years ago now. So I'm like, I think that probably has something to do with him.
Weird. Like right now?
Yeah, there's like a brand launching like a couple months ago called Ghetto Wear.
Uh-huh.
Like if you ever, it's like those pants that all the skateboarders were wearing in the 90s that made it look like their legs aren't moving. When they're skateboarding.
Yeah.
It's like they're so baggy that it's like you can't even see their leg bending.
Like Jinkos?
Yeah, they were like that. They've updated them now, so it's just relaxed instead of super baggy. But it's like I don't know. But I think the main thing he's doing, like I actually ran into Steve Rocco because I used to work at the Apple store in Thousand Oaks, and he lived in Malibu, and his wife would come in for lessons. And so I gave her like a few lessons, and then one of my taught her how to edit photos of her dog in iPhoto.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah,
hell yeah,
oh yeah. But but one of my buddies that worked there was like an even bigger skateboard head than me, so I was like, I'll let you work with Rocco's wife. That's fine, you can do that. But I met him once, and he's one of those guys who's like terrifying in person despite their stature. Like,
despite it.
It's like not large at all, but it's like just like the like there's something about like when you meet super duper successful people, they have like a level of eye contact that they're capable of making that is not comfortable. It's just like it's not like normal. Like there's like you're looking at me right now, but it's like you're not seeing my soul from like the middle of it out. You know, like, and that's how like I've worked with some really rich people, and that's how they look at you. It's just like, and you're just like, oh fuck, I'm gonna just stop talking.
Yeah,
because whatever I was gonna say wasn't that
your threat
important.
level is what he's doing. He's like,
interesting.
am I gonna have to destroy you?
Yeah, but I was like, no, like I approve. Like, good job.
But it's
fuck all that shit. I got us having breaks here again. I get it. Fight the power.
Where that comes from, you know what I mean? Like what it is. Do you think it's viewing everybody as a threat?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly part of it. I mean, based on this guy in particular, I mean, he lived for the fuck you. He lived for the, you guys go chop it up. I'm going to go take down my next rival. I think that's certainly part of it.
I wonder if it's a thing, too, where it's like, oh, man.
It's an alpha move. It's a big game move.
I don't think it's an alpha move. I think it might be sometimes a thing of like, are you going to be a psycho to me? Do you know that I'm like a famous person and like now you're going to be weird?
But he's not a famous person.
I guess not. Well, he knows about it.
Right. He's a success.
I think it's like basically they get to where they are by making people feel important.
Uh-huh.
But no one makes people feel important.
Right.
So it's uncomfortable to feel important.
So it wasn't a threatening level of eye contact?
Not necessarily. It's just like he's like really like it's like when someone's like really, really, really listening, and you're like you know that they're not kind of looking at their phone or thinking about something else. It's like they're just locked in, locked in. It's like, oh yeah, this is why you win in the boardroom, or why you can convince a skateboarder to leave a company and come to you is because you're just like, no, you're the only thing in the world right now, and you're like,
hyper-focus.
You're valuable, and I'm working in a mall, so why are you?
It is true. It is. I mean, I think we said it to fucking the Clinton thing. It's like He meets you once when he's in the primaries in Virginia, and then
he sees you again halfway
and then
across the
he
country.
leaves the presidency 20 years, and he remembers your mother's name.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh God, what?
Just this ability to retain information and use it to your advantage. That most people don't have.
Killer decency.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, and my friend met Jay-Z at South by Southwest, and he said the same thing. He said one thing to him, and then he's just like, I'm going to get out of here. Because it's just like, I can't have all this money looking at me. It's just so
Jesus.
You just see the amount. It's just like, no.
Sounds like your friend's racist, man.
Yeah. Checks out.
Avowed.
All of them.
All right, so every one of my friends is racist.
It's a system, guys. It's a system.
It's systematic.
Yeah, it's unconscious.
It's unconscionable. All right, so
It's very conscionable. No, I don't even know if that's a word.
Right.
Raspberries?
Yeah. So, do you know about his time in between re-involvement and just kind of giving it up? Was he being a weirdo? Was he doing anything fucked up?
I mean, I don't know that I know that much about that time. I think he just kind of
chilled with his money.
I think so. I think he just did
he live like a king? Did he?
Well, I've actually been to the place that he lives because I do IT sometimes, and so it's not at his house, but in that same complex, and it's literally a cliff, like a sea cliff in Malibu, and it's mobile homes.
Yeah.
But all of them have add-ons, are just two of them next to each other.
It's the $1 million trailer park.
Yeah, almost all of them have solar. Some of them have wells and stuff. It's not like a trailer park. It's just
right.
So he was just probably fucking around doing his weird, just gardening or whatever the fuck you do when you have all the money and a place.
Yeah.
Just some
he's probably abusing a power slave.
Yeah. Trying to find someone else to be mad at and destroy.
Scheming.
Going to a Gelson's in Malibu and figuring out which laws he needs to change to
no skateboarding.
We'll see about that.
You would wonder though if it would be scheming in the meantime about should I get back in this? Should I start doing stuff again? I had a bunch of successes, and then I think there's maybe a thing where you think oh, maybe this is finite and I need to cut my losses, and then you see oh, it's not finite. Actually, you started something that's now just a lasting genre forever.
Well, those Jackass guys, they just came out with another movie. We were at the theater the other day, and they were all there for a premiere, and half of Big Brother was there.
No, for sure. I mean, and you're right. I mean, it is weird. It's kind of but that's, I think, just speaks to his recklessness, is how he's built these things that last even without him, but it doesn't mean anything to him. What meant something to him was fighting the person, defeating them.
Do you know anything about how he's remembered by all these people that he kind of launched?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty evenly split between people that hate him and people that love him, and then there's also people that love him and hate him. It's just
oh, really?
It's just everyone says he's incredible, but most of the people agree that he's an asshole. Yeah. But he also knew that he was an asshole. He's a complicated guy. He's all the skateboarders, even while they're on the team, would give him shit and make fun of him to his face. But also when he'd make a business decision, they're like, yeah, we got to do that because he's the guy that makes all the money. And I mean, I don't know, kind of rambling there.
Yeah.
So he never got into the chop and all of that, but he surrounded himself with people who did. And then so he was. It kind of sounds like he was he's always a step above him or a step ahead of him because
Yeah, or at least detached.
Yeah.
He's just like outside of it. And I think that's what like led him he even sued people. That was another thing. Someone ran an ad against him and he'd sue them. And it's like, what the fuck? None of us sued you when you were shitting on us. It's like, yeah, not the same game, baby.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
That
like,
sounds
get out
like
of
your
business.
story.
Give me
Right.
$100,000 and leave the skateboarding industry.
Wow.
Like, it's just like
That is interesting that it's all about the fight.
It really seems like that's what it is. It's like unless someone is telling him he can't do something, it doesn't mean anything to him. Like unless there's a challenge, unless there's someone saying no, then it's like. And I honestly kind of relate to that. It's like unless someone's saying like you can't do it, then it's like why the fuck would you even bother?
It can be done.
Just the thing.
Someone will do it.
Oh! You mean if you go to college, you could just get a job? I think I can do that without it. Fuck you, mom and dad. That's just
Right.
how I
No.
get it. That's I've made those bad decisions and
Definitely
make it work.
understand that.
How do you really feel, Chris?
Exactly
Yeah.
like that. Exactly.
I do. I get it. I get it. That makes a lot of sense. That's good stuff. I mean, does he retain any relationships with any of those people?
Yeah, I mean, I think he still has a relationship with Rodney Mullen to this day, and I mean, like, yeah, I think about half the people he's on pretty good terms with, but it's just, I think there are people that took what he did personally, and there are people that saw that that's just how he is.
I think this sounds a lot like Thanos in Avengers. Like half of people, like, are still sitting around, and half people aren't, and his logic is flawless, and he's kind of an asshole, but like you follow the rules, man. You just got to do what he says.
Yeah,
he's
I
the
think
guy.
it comes back. I mean, every boss is a psycho.
Yeah.
Every boss
Yeah.
is a complete psycho that you're always struggling to understand. You're always struggling to understand
He
your
called
boss,
himself a dictator.
and you and you never do.
He's
You
like,
never
I'm a pretty
understand.
good dictator.
You never understand your boss. Like
Yeah.
you're always just like, I'm gonna go in there, but man, I'd love to figure out what's going on in his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy. You know, my
Hierarchies, man. They're fucking crazy.
See, what we're learning is John would be one of the guys that hates him.
Yeah.
That's
no,
like,
I don't.
get it. It's like, Bo, it's like if you're trying to think about it, he'll drive you nuts. Basically, it's like, why would you do this? It's like, because I just ruin everything for everyone. That's not me forever.
No, I think I've definitely had bosses that I don't understand, but I still. I mean, some of them I loved. You know what I mean? But like, it's just funny to me how if you talk to almost anybody in any situation, they're like, yeah, my boss, and they just talk about them with this kind of awe. That's like they're like, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. And I feel like I'm a very confident person.
Maybe it's because people who aren't bosses are dumb.
No, I don't think it is.
I don't think so either.
I don't think it is.
But you could. I think there's people just kind of certain positions select for a certain personality. And certainly with like CEOs, like it's sociopathy, right?
Right, yeah. Well, at my local bar the other day, the girl bartending was sitting down and she was like, oh yeah, I was at this show. It was like this like fucking crazy ass psych rock show, and she's like, and I was in the pit, and I saw this dude like ran into me with his shirt off, and I was like, oh, that's Carl. He's the owner of where she works, and he was being like a maniac.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like that is. She was like, no way. Like, I can't believe this. You know?
Yeah.
And there's always some story like that where somebody's like, my boss that pays me that has like way more comfort and wealth than I ever will. I saw them doing something so beneath me in dignity.
Yeah.
That it blew my mind.
Yeah.
That I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. I had a boss at Apple. He was making 6 figures being a general manager.
Yeah.
And he also trained animals for movies. Mm-hmm. And he got fired for keeping all the phone cases companies gave us.
Oh my god.
Like phone company, like Agent 18 or like InCase would send like a backpack and some phone cases to the store to like distribute to the employees to raise a product awareness. And he'd just keep all of the stuff for like 5 years, and someone finally caught him and he got fired.
Jesus.
I got fired for being 7 minutes late though.
Yeah.
So I guess there are equal injustices.
So tell me about with Rocco. What made you find this story and love it?
Well, I just like the idea of someone being told no by the man,
Yeah.
and then like proving them so wrong that he in turn becomes the man,
Yeah.
and gets defeated by someone he brought up who then becomes the man? That's just crazy. Just like, and basically this guy took it from skateboarding being this all outside interesting to now, I want to say like 90% of skateboard companies are owned by skateboarders.
Right.
And by skateboarders who previously rode for those teams or have like relationships with other people that they're working together with. And that's why the skateboarding industry is so much like cooler now than it was in the 90s, and why like it hasn't had to have like another big pop, because the people that do it just like steadily grows. Like,
Yeah.
Right,
I
they're
don't
not
know-
venture capitalists looking to...
right.
Yeah.
It's just organic growth. It's like whether you're hearing about it on TV or seeing commercials for the X Games, I can't fucking go to the skate park by my house when there's not a bunch of kids that are better me than me there. So it's like it's still happening. Like they're still out there doing it.
Right.
So it's just like he basically made it a sustainable thing by empowering the people who were actually doing the thing to be the industry.
Right.
And I think like there's a lot of industries that could use that kind of turnover, to be completely honest. So
Yeah.
I love the story from that perspective. I mean, the vendettas and stuff are, amusing, but just the fact that this guy took all the power from the people that it shouldn't be and put it in the hands of the people that it should be. It's just, that's dope. Now people like when the difference is like back then when people would get injured, they're fucked. It's like, oh, well, later, like, you're injured. Now they get a job. They're a rep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're a sales representative, and they have pre-existing relationships with all the people. They get brought into the system somehow. Their product design, their R&D. Like,
it pays off better for the company, too.
Yeah.
Because they're an expert.
Right. Like, there's this kid, this guy, like, I grew up town next to him, Mike Capaldi. He's a pro skateboarder, and he sold a ton of boards. And then, like, he fucked up his ankle so bad that it doesn't even, like, work without a special brace.
Wow.
But him and his brother were empowered by Girl and Royal and stuff to start a sunglasses company, and now him and his brother survived this really weird rare form of cancer, and now these two fucking kids from Simi Valley have a crazy successful sunglass company, and it's just like that's like becoming more the norm rather than just like these people getting hung out to dry by the industry. Like in the 90s, it was like you'd hear about these amazing skaters who would go to jail or have like really bad drug problems or wind up in insane asylums.
Sure.
And now the industry actually kind of takes care of them because they understand them. And so like, I mean, that's, to me, it's just a complete turnaround and like, and the sustainability that it's gained from the fact that now it is its own movement. It's not, they don't need outside interest. They don't need some old white guy to take care of it because they got these middle-aged white guys that used to do kickflips to take care of it.
Right. They had like a Bolshevik revolution in a capitalist system.
Exactly.
And it works.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it's run by the proletariat of the workers and the skaters, and it's still making money. It's staying sustainable.
Yeah.
It's not outreaching its grasp.
And it's also it's like a thing of, for me, and I was never into it. My friends were, because I was like, hung out with a bunch of punk kids. So like half of them were fucking most of them were skaters. And like I was always just like, they're always getting in trouble for doing this thing that affects nobody.
Yeah.
It hurts no one but themselves.
Yeah.
And people are always giving them a hard time and stuff like that. But then, it attracts, these weirdos that want to do this weird thing, and they get to do it, and they get a huge thrill from doing it. And like, what could you possibly have a problem with that? And especially when you're in a shithole.
Yeah.
And the only thing you can do is have this dumbass contraption and take it to the street.
Yeah.
And like, what could possibly be bad about that?
Yeah.
And it's so true that it's not wrong. That then it breeds about this culture of everybody understanding, oh, it's not wrong.
Right.
So then you get a more supportive culture, and you get people that care and understand like this is people making art out of literally nothing.
Out of concrete.
Yeah.
It's watching a dope skate video is beautiful. Like,
It's incredible.
It's now with like all the like handhelds and jibs that they have, they're even better than ever.
Yeah.
And people, anybody can edit on their phone and on their computer now. They're so good, and there's so many good skaters, and it is such a skill.
But at this time, it was like it makes fucking Spike Jones.
Yeah.
It's like oh,
Oscar
dude,
winner Spike Jones?
Yeah, you fucking make badass skate videos. Now suddenly it's like, oh, do you know that you're actually a cinematographer?
Yeah.
And
Did
you're
you know
not
you taught yourself how to make movies?
Yeah.
He's so great. He did this Lakai video, fully flared, and the opening scene is just using a bunch of Hollywood special effects. Like they have Eric Costin riding a skateboard through walls. It's like like false walls. He's just like riding full speed, just punching through walls on his skateboard. And then like they end it with like this kid I know, Mike Mo Capaldi, does a switch kickflip down a 10 stair. That's a wood 10 stair. And then they blow up the 10 stair as he's rolling away. And that's like, it's so great because it went from just like initial Spike Jonze videos were just good skate videos.
Yeah.
And then it's like he makes some actual movies and comes back with budget. And
Check
makes
this out, guys.
insane,
Yeah.
Just like.
I know. It's incredible.
It's
I'll
great.
never forget him fucking accepting the fucking MTV award for Sabotage video.
What does he do?
He comes out and he goes like, Spike Jonze is the greatest director of all time. He's like, Spike Jonze! Screaming his name like in like a Russian accent for some reason.
Great.
It was just so like part of like that. That was the thing that drew you into this community, was being like, what are these guys doing? These guys are funny and weird and like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You know? It's so cool.
And it's all thanks to Marty McFly ripping off
Yep.
the handlebars off that girl's scooter.
That's right. That's
Couldn't have done it
absolutely
without you,
right.
Marty.
Yeah, and he also invented rock and roll.
That's correct.
And it wasn't
Crazy.
black folks, as
Nope.
we were led to believe.
Nope.
It was
Nope.
white folks.
It was one white boy.
Time traveling white guys.
And he made incest cool.
Yeah.
Hey, man, incest was cool way before Marty.
And also piss.
Manure? Hate manure.
I don't want you to talk about shit on this program ever again.
I hate manure. I hate it.
Good. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know.
It's dude, skating's so cool. I never got into it, but like it is like it's so punk. And it got super mainstream, but it's now back to like a very respectable, sustainable subculture, and it's still big, but it's not like how. I mean, there were how many fucking Tony Hawk video games, but I played them. Believe me.
Yeah. Me too.
God, and I learned a lot of music from them. And I was just waste.
Goldfinger.
Oh yeah, Fishbone.
Dude, that was
A lot of
the
that ska shit.
Was that like, it was like,
Here I am.
it was about, like I said, like, you know, something obviously not being wrong that was taboo or whatever, and then everybody understanding, oh no, this is not wrong at all, and then, well, what else is going on there? And then you get like all of this culture.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're cool, man.
Oh, you guys are cool.
That was a nice story, and I like the way I think the way you put it of how he like returned power to the skaters is like probably the most powerful thing about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like, and it's cool to like he had to become a suit to do it, but sometimes it's worth it's worth.
It's an
becoming
archetypal
the man.
story, man.
Right, and I think that's kind of part of the reason that he's not involved as much anymore is because it's like it's not necessary. Like his lesson took. There's less kooks in the industry. It's just people that actually give a shit about it, pretty much. And so, it's like Jamie Thomas and John Lucero and like all these fucking people that like Danny Way, all these people that were pros like now run the industry. And so it's like,
I think there's also a little bit of live long enough to see yourself become the villain there.
I was just gonna say there's
For
very Dark
sure.
Knight illusions of like
Yeah.
you return the mantle. You don't need it anymore.
Right, yeah, you do that thing of like, well, now I'm just the millionaire dickhead in Malibu. That's my role now.
Yeah.
Before it was not. Before I was able to.
And maybe one day I'll come back.
And maybe, but
Right now,
I feel like people also are like, if they come from that shit and then they change a lifestyle a lot, they're probably like always doubting whether they actually know what's up again.
yeah, the imposter syndrome thing. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to be coming back being like, hey, remember me from the 80s?
Yeah.
right. And it's like, then you basically just are the Powell and Peralta guys again because you're just an out
Right.
of touch.
Hello,
Yeah,
fellow
exactly.
youths.
Would you like to do a skateboard?
Well, I think what you said about him, his drive was not the money or the achievement or you know the typical motivation of your kind of like how high-powered business owners. His was the fuck you, right? So he wasn't. So many people are so much driven by the next accomplishment. He didn't have a what's next. He's like, oh well, I did it. I'm done now. I
did it all.
My services have been completed and rendered. I'm ready to go. So many of the people just don't know when to stop. You know, you have like Barry Sanders, and then you have like Willie Mays, who played way too long.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
Emmett Smith.
But it has that thing. It has that thing too of like, I'm doing this because I can't do it, right? But the lessons that what I give to everybody else is like you can go and you can start your own fucking skateboard company.
Anybody can do it.
And then also these guys that I maybe don't completely understand from the magazine, they can start their own media.
Yeah.
So like everybody's kind of empowered and empowered to do what they know how to do better than I do.
Right.
So it's just like, go forth.
Yeah.
For sure, that's very much his thing. He trusted his guys. Like he trusted his, like the art guy that did all the boards. It's just like, no, whatever. If you think it's good, go with it. You've made us so much fucking money.
Yeah, man, that's so fucking crazy. Like, I mean, it's such a duh way of handling business, but so hard for people to do.
Yeah, it's the paradox of so many people who have the drive. They want final cut and they want the final say because that's kind of part of the reason they got there.
Yeah.
When really, sometimes you just need to let go and let the experts do their thing. A lot of other industries could use that kind of
For sure.
attitude.
You see it all the time. I mean,
Who's signing off on the next SEAL team drama on History Channel? Fuck.
for sure.
Not a cool writer guy.
Yeah. and
Some suit.
There's
Definitely not a cool writer lady.
Definitely not a
For
cool
sure
writer
not her.
lady.
But like, there's something about,
Some lady in a smart business suit, though.
but there's something to just embracing and weaponizing people's own enthusiasm.
Absolutely.
Just being like, I know if you give a fuck about it, it might probably way more likely going to be something.
Yeah, if you give enough of a fuck about something that you're making me give a fuck about it, you can make a lot of other people give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
So go make people give a fuck about it. You fuck.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're trying to do.
Weaponize your enthusiasm. That'll be on our next round of merch.
Yeah. Weaponized enthusiasm.
Yes.
Also weaponized piss.
This enthusiasm tastes weaponized.
Napalm. Forgot.
All your shirts should come in yellow.
Oh.
Like, you want to get it a piss
What kind of
color?
yellow? Oh,
Like a
piss
piss yellow,
yellow.
maybe.
Well,
Like
we had the freak of the
color.
t-shirts made for just us, and then we were like, we're gonna give it to the Patreon subscribers, and I was gonna change it to black, and then I was walking down the street and I was talking to Joe on text who made our shirts, and I was like, no, piss yellow, baby.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Slutty ass pink on piss yellow. That's what it is, dude, and it's the right way to go.
It's the right way to go.
It's the right thing to do, Aaron.
I think so.
I think so too.
Gotta do it.
I think we're gonna close up shop.
I think so. Chris, thank you.
Chris, thank you so much, man. That was really fun to talk about. And you just watched the fucking the Big Brother documentary a while ago, so I was.
Yeah, I mean, it's really. It's on Hulu, I think.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
And there's another one that you mentioned too that I haven't seen, but
The Man Who Sold the World. SOULED. Oh, wordplay,
Oh,
guys. Wordplay.
World Industries that he sold. Triple and tender.
Two shakas in the fucking sky, dude. Sold the world.
Yeah, could have used one less edit, probably.
Should have listened to his own advice.
Yeah. I'm gonna say goodnight, everybody. I love you. I'm John Fahy.
I am Aaron Pita.
Matt Brousseau.
Chris Crittenden.
Good night, everybody. We love you.